What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the 2005 Ford GT. This is my friend Vinny's car and we're going to take this for a spin and just figure out what is it like to drive the, in my opinion, the most iconic Ford GT. Of course you got the original one and then the new one, but for me growing up in the 90s, this car, early 2000s, is the kind of car that just speaks to me. So we're going to take a quick look at it. This thing is super clean and these cars are going for around $400,000 depending on mileage, things like that. But this thing is a beautiful car as you'd expect, and we have a supercharged V8 with over 500 horsepower. And of course this is a mid-mounted motor, and one of the coolest things is the fact, obviously with the generation, this car has a 6-speed manual transmission. And one of the weirdest, most funky things about the Ford GT is the fact that the door and everything comes out like that. It is such a unique experience for sure. But this is gonna be very neat to drive. Mike did a full review on this car, and now we're just gonna take kind of my perspective of what it's like to drive a manual performance car like this. I've heard a lot of amazing things about them, but it is gonna be something else. So one last look at that interior with those carbon seats. Pretty driver-focused interior. Definitely a pretty neat vehicle. But with that all said, I think it's time to take this for a spin. All right guys, so we are now in the Ford GT. We're here with Vinny, the owner. First off, thank you for letting us check it out and drive it. So what in the world is it like to drive this generation Ford GT? So you've only owned this for like a month and a half or so?
Yeah.
And you've already driven it over 1,000 miles?
About 1,500 miles already, yeah.
So before I kind of get on it, I guess, what is your initial reaction? Like, what is it like?
It is, I guess the best way to describe it is while you're driving it, every one of your senses is going at the same time.
Yeah.
You've got the smell from the car, right, from 05. You've got the sound from the supercharger.
Oh, yeah.
The ball in your hand, the way the clutch feels. I mean, is that already kind of accurate to what you're feeling?
It is unlike anything I've driven.
Yep.
It's very different. So far, just cruising to where we are, it feels pretty smooth and livable, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like such an intimidating car.
Right.
Yeah, it so far feels kind of modern, which is crazy to think, because, I mean, obviously 05 isn't exactly crazy old.
Mm-hmm.
Clutch pedal, you gotta kind of get used to a little bit.
Once you do, though,
yeah,
it's fantastic. And she wants to rev. She wants to go all the way up. It's great.
And that was just 4th gear. That is so smooth with the supercharged motor, and the shifting is so easy.
Yeah,
like
it really is.
That just felt so nice to do.
Mm-hmm. Livable, right? That's kind of your impression, even when you're just kind of half throttling it or something.
Yeah, I'd say the most interesting thing to get used to is certainly the view. Like, we have the roof line just right in front of my face, which is so interesting. The doors, obviously, you almost hit your head every time you close it. Takes a little getting used to that.
Yep.
The mirrors are offset. That one is farther forward. That one is closer that way. So it's a completely different like visual from any other, even like a Lamborghini or that kind of supercar.
That's right.
And then the speaker right there, the roll cage and stuff behind the engine, it's like all right there. I love how tiny the steering wheel is. Like,
yes.
It almost feels like a go-kart, which
Absolutely.
is pretty neat. And yeah, the shifting just feels so buttery smooth.
And you picked it up really quick too.
Rev matching is effortless.
Let's go right. It'll be less crowded.
Yeah. Yeah, the shifting is so smooth.
And it just begs you to drive it, doesn't it?
Gosh. You can just tell, like, it's just there's so much power that it wants to do. Speedometer's a little odd going way over here. You kind of gotta look back and forth, but I guess with this car it's all about, you don't really care about your speed I guess.
Well, you know, it's funny, I've got a GT40 also, and it's the same exact setup.
Yeah.
So I got really used to looking on the right.
Yeah, I guess
so for me it was natural.
Yep. Man, that is so easy to rev match. This car has nothing, like no traction control or any of that stuff.
Nope.
Man.
No, you become this car.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it, and that's what I love about it. Oh yeah.
Wow. It's such an intimidating looking car that when you're behind the wheel, it almost just feels like so right. Everything, like how everything is put together and how it drives. Man, it's easy to drive. drive, honestly.
It's so easy. I mean, I take it everywhere. I take it dinners. I take it on mountain drives up in Blue Ridge Mountains for 8-9 hours at a time. I mean, it's good for everything, like you said. And I go to it first over all my other cars right now. Yeah.
I can see that. The only, I guess the biggest thing would be the doors. When you park it, you kind of got to make sure you can open the doors to get out.
Yes.
Because you have to open them pretty much all the way or you can't get out of the car.
You literally can't get out of the car, yeah. Yeah, it takes a little extra planning. Like in your guys' cars, in your supercars, you plan to go somewhere. You want to make sure there's parking. But in this, you have to make sure there's like end spots.
Yeah.
So it's like...
It's a whole different, I guess, idea because now you have to physically be able to park the car somewhere to get out without not getting out.
That's exactly right.
It kind of sounds like a spaceship a little bit when you're accelerating because you can hear a little bit of that supercharger whine, like it's about to take off.
And even while you're cruising, it's always there.
Yeah.
Isn't it just so exhilarating? Love it.
The view out is
go that way, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some good roads down here.
It looks like there is, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
But like the rear view mirror, like you see the supercharger, you see the braces, you see just a small piece of glass back there. Wow. The suspension is so tight too, where like accelerating, there's no squat or anything.
Nope.
It's just like a bullet just going straight.
And it stays pretty flat when you're in the turns. I mean, it's just such a great road car.
Yeah.
I can't believe they had a hard time selling these back in the day.
They sat. I remember hearing about that. Man. Yeah, these things sat, which is crazy, especially now with what they are worth.
Now they don't. Well, now they sit for a different reason. Because everybody wants them. They don't want to drive them.
Now you're an owner that you're not afraid to drive this. Like you actually will drive it. It's not just a garage queen to sit there and do nothing.
I mean, listen, the guy I bought it from owned it 2 years. He put 250 miles on it. It was an investment for him.
Yeah.
I've put over 1,500 miles in the last 45 days in this car.
That's insane.
And I work from home. You know? So,
man,
you only live once.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a car like this, might as well use it.
Just enjoy it.
You know, the suspension, it's definitely stiff. Like on this road, we can feel all the bumps, but it's not back-braking, jittery. Like, it doesn't feel like a loose car.
No.
And there's no rattles or anything, which you would think 05 Ford, not the best build quality.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with your Ford Focus buttons and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, we had a 95 Ford Explorer, and the key fob was the same as what our Explorer had. But this feels really, really high quality, which is crazy.
Yes.
And that's probably a part of why they're going for so much money, how it wasn't just like a barn build back in the day.
No.
They actually built it to build something special.
That's exactly right. And it has a down-to-earthness to it, too. It feels really special, doesn't it? But at the same time, you see that it uses these common parts as well, and you're like, it's just kind of a cool, down-to-earth supercar.
Yeah, it's like I could say the everyman's supercar in a way. How it just feels very normal.
And with how connected you get to it too. Like you guys know I've had R8s and Lamborghinis and stuff, and this is the most connected. This is the most. Yeah. You become the car in this.
Yeah, this really feels like you're driving it. Like,
yes.
Obviously, there's no aids or anything for it to do any of the work, but you make the car fun when you're driving it.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, I have a lot of fun in this car.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is just crazy.
It is so awesome.
So smooth. Like even first to second gear change, I'm so used to that being always an awkward gear change. It is effortless to just keep picking up the speed.
And listen, I mean, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds in 05.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
Out of the box. Unreal.
Gosh. The crazy thing is, like, with the weight in the back, it doesn't feel like it's going to kill you.
That's right. That's right. And that's kind of actually, it can make you overconfident too, though. You got to be careful. Yeah,
because you got to take that step back and realize it can still slip out, and when it does,
that's right.
You're probably in big trouble.
Well, I think the statistic, the joke is that I think they made like 4,033 of these.
Yeah.
But they say like only 2/3 have survived. It's like, so.
Man.
A lot of them, I'm sure, have been rebuilt. There's a lot of salvage ones out there, but I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah. But it's interesting just how it really doesn't feel old. It feels nice. It feels well put together. It feels powerful and smooth, like everything you would want to be like awesome. Gosh. And
It's addicting, isn't it?
I can see what you're talking about in this part where you just want to drive it more. I could not own this and not want to drive it because it's so good to drive, which you just don't think about that with an 05 Ford. Just they've had some good products, of course, but probably not their best time. But somehow they put this together, which is impressive. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, seriously, they had some good engineers, and I mean the GT40 is just such a fantastic car. They did justice by the original car by building this too.
Oh yeah. Well, guys, unfortunately, I think that is going to about wrap it up driving in this car. It is certainly something else to pilot, way different than I expected. And a lot of the reviews of people who say how good they are, wow, you just want to keep driving it.
Just want to keep going.
And I can see how you could actually kind of daily this. The visibility takes a little getting used to. Closing the door, I would say, takes a little getting used to. And the storage space, or lack thereof, I would say, is only real downfall.
Right.
But a car like this, you're not buying it to take, luggage on and doing that stuff. You're just driving it to drive it.
Yep.
Wow. I've never driven one before. I've never even sat in a Ford GT before.
Well, today's the first time I rode in the passenger seat, so I love it.
There you go. And you learned about the mirrors, too.
I did.
So we are learning and experiencing new things today. But guys, unfortunately, that is it for my time in the Ford GT. This is one of those cars, me growing up, as a 10 or 15-year-old in the early 2000s, that I, idolized something like this. Those are the era of cars that I dreamt about. So thank you for letting me drive it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anytime. Check out Vinny's Instagram. He has some amazing photos and some good toys to check out, so definitely check him out. That is it for the Ford GT, what it's like to drive and get behind the wheel. Definitely something on the bucket list.
Awesome. Thanks for taking it.
Whew, man. I might have to kick him out and go for a spin. But I'll see you guys in the next video.